Got so many memories in there. How many years of memories you got in there?
Oh, geez. Unbelievable. I was involved with so much community action stuff that Toy Grace, God rest her soul, and I held every position as an officer at the Verdean Vets. From Toy and I, we said, you know, we're the, what was that phrase we used to use? We used to do everything, you know what I mean? And I think I told you one time what we call ourselves. But we used to do a lot of the stuff. Like my brother, his thing was that the flower garden at the thing there. He's the one that did that. So I picked that up. And carried that on. And that's the way you pass your history. And unfortunately, it's too bad that we didn't think, you know, the people before us didn't think that way about we should preserve this stuff. Like a social, that building. I pointed out that building to you, didn't I?
Is that the one on Walnut Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, what up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm well.
Good to see you.
You too. You as well. Good morning.
Good morning. And here we are again, doing work at the cemetery, which is one of the things that we hold sacred, not only for the veterans, but years ago this whole area wasn't as many veterans. And there's the veterans plot is over there, where the flag is. You know, and that could be filled up.
This is during World War II or what?
Probably got filled up at the end of World War II. Yeah. And then there's sometimes you find real old ones, you know what I mean? You look up and find them. And it's a matter if you run into them, see how the flat ones are like that?
Yeah.
You gotta kick them around. But you don't put flags in the middle there, so it tells you the name and that person there. If they do that already, there's nobody there that is a veteran. Somebody did that already. As you see over there?
Yeah.
That's the headstone for the whole family. So that's where we put the flag.
Okay. So it's like Manny Costa, Manny Korea.
Yeah. What's that? You can see it?
Yeah. And his wife Julia. And then Manuel Resendiz and Mary Resendiz.
Whole family.
How long you been coming out here and doing this for?
Ever since I came back to New Bedford. Every year I came to the cemetery.
For Memorial Day?
Oh, yeah.
Since how long?
Since even when I was in the service, I used to come all the way from Connecticut.
To come here? How many people participated?
Back then is when we used to celebrate it along with the St. John's, St. James, and what's the other church?
Away?
And Away. It was connected with the church. But after the veterans got involved, we used to possess. The original possession was from the churches. We'd come straight down Allen Street and possess all the way up.
How many people you think?
Oh man, it was pretty large because we picked up the different people at different churches, the Portuguese and well, mainly the Portuguese, the French, and whoever in that area, the churches, and we possessed right up Allen Street.
With a band?
With a band. We used to go up Allen Street. That
Must have
was
been
way back then.
hundreds of people?
Oh yeah. People used, that's when we'd go and like pick up people from the churches when go from there and we go up, possess, go all the way up to all the way up Allen Street. I don't know if I told you, but I was one of the guys that we were probably the last ones that we did a caisson funeral. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Caisson is like you see how they pull it with the horses and their body is put on the like the
trailer,
trailer.
Yeah.
We had a caisson. Somehow it disappeared.
Oh, so you used to deliver when someone would pass away, you would bring them.
Yeah, I remember the year that we done one, and it was raining like hell. We were sitting on the sides. There were seats for 6 guys, and caisson come up Allen Street. Yeah. But somehow it got into the city dump somehow, and it disappeared. The caisson.
Yeah, that's sad.
And we could never find it.
Why do you feel like this is important to continue this tradition?
Because it's actually it's connected with the churches and it's connected with our beliefs. It goes way back, and we have a lot of love here or there. They're not here, so somebody's got to do it, and hopefully it continues. You was mentioning the thing about, like, if it wasn't for the guys from the office, they're the ones that did most of it. So, and they're all guys that waiting for releases and stuff that they bring to do this. And then there's Verdean guys, House of Correction guys. There's a couple of them. But it's been going on for years. Years. Like I say, way back, it used to, when it was, connected with the churches in the South End. We marched all the way from, we started at Wallaway, we picked up Mount Carmel, we picked up St. John's, St. James, and we used to go straight up Allen Street. That's when we had we had our own band.
How big was the band?
Oh, it was band. It was a full band.
Full band.
Yeah.
What would you want? Is there anything you want to happen about this?
It's for somebody to make sure it gets done.
Just to make sure it gets done?
That's all.
Do you want anything that used to be done? Do you miss any of the other stuff that was there, or?
We're doing the same thing that was done before, Honor the the military, first of all, that's when it started with the military. The Second World War veterans. I don't know if you want to go over there. Well, you'll be here tomorrow anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, Monday. Because that's what we started with the military.
There was a lot of guys from the community in World War One and World War Two.
Oh, yeah.
How many veterans were?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No idea.
The count. We never. This just over there. That's a combination of the Portuguese, Cape Verdean veterans. I have no idea.
Okay.
I've never broke it down, to that level of,
What keeps you going?
the guy upstairs. I put a lot of faith in God and just ask him, and I only ask him to let me finish what I started. That's all I ask him. You know what I mean? Let me go in peace. I ain't no thing. I ain't gonna say. I lived life. I had a good life, and I have nothing to cry about other than that. I thank God for His patience with me. You know what I mean? Because without Him, I wouldn't be here. I still, I feel badly because I can't do it. I can't walk like the rest of them and flag in the graves, but I do what support I can. I make sure the flags are here, pick them up, bring them, so that we get help from the sheriff's department. And what more can I say? A lot of we've picked up volunteers. People show up, different people. I see different people each year. We pick up, people show up that somebody speaks to somebody, and like one family, the Ramos family, they're always here. Ronnie just came. He just came. But he was here early. He knows it good. His whole family used to come. But it was, it was a family affair, But, it just gets sad after a while. You say, hey, where's everybody?
Giving up. How many people were lost?
What? It's like you have to hope that they believed in what they lost their lives for, if they lost it in battle, but also all the damage that you take from being at war. All the damage that you take from being in terrible places and having to do something. Like, it's great to have a life where you live easy, but man, the damage done that people didn't even have words for mental health wise before, where PTSD is still kind of a new term to a lot of people because they don't understand it. They just hear the letters and they go, oh yeah, you're fucked up. But decades and decades of how you have a family after going through that with literally nobody there to help you because they don't know how.
Most of the, like my grandfathers, most of them were in World War II, and alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol, drugs, fighting, whatever gets you through. Not being in the house because you can't be inside. Not going outside because you can't go outside. Always wanting to go camping so you can dig a hole in the ground because you feel safe there. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go fishing. Why? Because I feel safe in the jungle. But you're not saying that. I just gotta go outside. I gotta go be one with nature now. I gotta go live on a mountain because things that are important. Not knowing that you're just self-medicating. Not even knowing that you're self-medicating. How scary is that? You don't even know how deep it goes because nobody around you has the language for it. And you're just doing what seems natural at the time when maybe that wasn't you before at all.
It's a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And it passes down to not just the ones that went, but their families that
people that have to learn how to live around you now.
Yeah.
That's one of the scariest things about like my job is I know anything I do that I'm bringing home carries over. So now not only do I have to go to work, do my job, leave it there, but I also have to do the work of making sure nothing tracks in with me. So now my brain is going in at least 2 different directions on top of whatever else I brought into the world from just existing.
Yeah.
On top of my skin color, on top of the state I live in, on top of the city I live in, the neighborhood I live in, on top of all of that stuff, there's the danger of, will that impact the next generation badly? We still might not have the language for things that are happening to us. We still might not know.
Yeah. I agree.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Heavy.
All just to not be homeless. All just to not be homeless.
And when you think about some of these graves you're putting the stones, some of them some of them were by choice. They went, but a great many were drafted, and they had no opportunity.
You didn't even get to choose to risk your life. Someone chose for you.
You know what I realized too is like between my 2 grandfathers, one grandfather was in the Navy, and I learned it talking to one of the vets from he's 90 something years old, William Carmel. He was in the Navy in World War II, I mean, and it was a segregated unit, and he still has trauma for the amount of racism he experienced there. And my grandfather, when he was an elder, they lived in Riverside, Rhode Island, and his son lived with him, and he was walking on the street, and he saw an elder white dude wearing a hat from the same boat he was on, the same ship he was stationed on in World War II. And he came running home, Dad, I met a guy who was on the same boat as you. And he said, my grandfather put his head down and was like, it said something about the way those guys treated them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even want to go see the guy. He got sad when he heard the guy was dead, probably because he was like,
you might have been one of the people that was awful to him.
Yeah.
While you're both putting your life on the line, you still can't put aside your skin color.
So I think about the post-traumatic stress that white soldiers had, which is real, and then there's a different layer where you're in the same experience, but now you're also experiencing like real harsh racial conditions, especially for folks like the Cape Verdean folks that were coming from up here that didn't have that
54th Regiment.
They didn't have that. They didn't have that like integrated. They lived in an integrated community. Racist as hell up here, but like you could go to the toilet, you could drink from a fountain.
Yeah.
You could go to the store. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like my grandfather talked about going down south from Fox Point. It was like completely different story. But
it gives full acknowledgement of these guys' sacrifice
and you were friends with.
I was like a stepbrother to College James Rose. I brought him to his induction station in 1968. On my birthday, I brought him to the induction station, and he went to Camp Lejeune and basic training, and then he came home, and then he went back, and he was sent to Vietnam, and I was stationed in California when he got killed, but they allowed me to come home as a relative. Red Cross was able to arrange it. I was part of the honor guard that buried him in Wyham in 1969, May of 1969.
You were enlisted prior to him or after him?
After him.
After him.
We were originally going to go under the buddy plan, and there was a little glitch on my induction, so he ended up going in, and then I ended up going later on. When I was in Vietnam, I flew over the area where he got killed, which was in Hamburg Hill. It's outside of Chu Lai, Vietnam, and I was able to, as I was over there flying around in Vietnam, I was recognizing the area where he had gotten killed. He got a rocket attack, shrapnel, and so that was a sad thing. We was able to dedicate a bridge in Wyham, in East Wyham specifically, the College James Rose Memorial Bridge. It goes toward Glen Charlie Road in East Wyham. pass over that. And also been putting on this brunch routinely, with the exception of the pandemic interruption there. We've been holding it annually.
For you, I see you involved in these things regularly. Why do you feel like these things are important, and why do you think it's important for us as a community to honor and remember these folks?
Well, America is made up of veterans. The 1% of veterans that exist, America owes their dignity, their pride, their existence to that 1% of veterans. I mean, the veterans are what makes America great and has kept America great. So as a veteran myself, I feel obligated. I've been involved over 32 years with the Mass Vigil Society, and we bring a large POW flag down to Washington, D.C. to bring a recognition and seek a full accounting of all POWs and MIAs of all war, but specifically was intended to get recognition of the 2,800 from Vietnam. And while we were doing that, there has been reclamations and discovery of quite a few veterans have been able to be identified and brought home and buried. And so, yes, I feel like it's an obligation that, as a survivor of the war, that it's my obligation to make sure that those guys are not forgetting and that we do acknowledge and appreciate their service. And very much in support of all the other veterans' activities, families, the sacrifices they made. So that's a continual thing. And I'm a disabled veteran, and I have my own things, but camaraderie of fellow Vietnam veterans. This year is coming up the 40th anniversary of the Vietnam Wall. I was there in '82, and that was the first time our colors, the Marical Division, 23rd Infantry Division, was able to march down the Pennsylvania Avenue, because they lost their colors in Guadalcanal. We was able to get them restored in Vietnam, and that was part of the parade. We had a parade dedicating. It was a Veterans Day parade, and that was the initiation of the Vietnam Wall, and it was an amazing event. I was able to go up there with the UMass Dartmouth, which was US. What was the name of it? SMU. Yeah. At the time, and he was able to put a veterans program, and he was able to get quite a few of those Vietnam veterans, and to get down to Washington at a real low, inexpensive price, and I was able to get down there, and that was a real meaningful event. It was a purging experience,
Do you feel like these type of things help with healing too, or?
Service is definitely a healing therapy. It's very much of a distraction. Being able to do for someone else is a distraction from your own inner anxieties and frustrations and whatever. And so that's always been a part of I'm in recovery. I got 39 years of sobriety, and in that I learned service also, and to do for others. As I say, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, and I have gratitude about that, and being able to be of service.
How long have you been associated with the Verdean Vets?
Well, since I got back from Vietnam in '71, my continuous off and on activity with the Verdean Vets, always attempting to be a part of that Cape Verdean contingent, Cape Verdean American Veterans Association. The fact that we have so many female veterans now that have deceased during the Iraqi and global war experience is, so it's no longer relevant to he, the fact that they have made that sacrifice, so that's, one of the things I do. I was fortunate enough to be interviewed by PBS Basic Black program, and they did a trailer to the Vietnam War by Kent Burns.
Yeah.
And they interviewed me, and I was able to do a 3-minute caption. And just recently I was recognized at the 50th commemoration to be the speaker at the National Cemetery.
Wow.
And they used that as an intro to me, and I was able to be of service there. That was a privilege.
Do you have anything that you're concerned about in terms of like where things are at now for remembrance of these things?
Humanity is at a very tenuous time. The fact that there is, Judge Layton, and the Honorable Judge George N. Layton, made a statement one time. He said, in my way pursuing life, he said there was 3 people over here that was against me. There was 30 people over here for me. I went with the 30. And that's the example of life, that there are so few that oppose humanity and the goodness in life. Yeah. And we should stay in support of those, the massive group that wants the good for everybody and all, And in spite of those handful that sits on the side or on the other direction. And that's the way we will evolve and change what needs to be changed.
From the lakes, from the hills, from the sky, all is well, safely rest. All is night.
Men and women, and still come do their best to help us keep the doors open. And it's a constant fight like every other organization, and we will continue. And for all the people that has helped us to keep the doors open, I want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Man, put the camera down there. He's done a lot of history. Doing a lot of history. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you very much.
It saddens me and maddens me the tragedy that had us see poor kids enlisting more bids on foreign shores for morbid wars for corporate whores. Yet that when veterans return from tours, they post dramatic. With so many close loved ones turn to ghost and addictive minds, some become addicts in time, binge on syringe, pills, or the wine that kill over time. So most come close to overdose and a habit they find to escape. Others in unemployment line, mothers and fathers underemployed part-time can relate. With no food on the plate, the irony, they used to be the fuel for the state. Now they stuck in a state with no cent for no rent, so mortgage is late. Eventually forced to vacate, greet fate of those who roam with no home in this modern day Rome or Babylon. Did you know that 40% of the homeless on the city streets we travel on are wartime vets? Unless you forget, vets are only 1% of the nation's population. So you do the math, estimate your calculation, and see nearly all fall victim to the prison of corporate capitalism.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the C16. Please donate to your local food bank or thrift shop. They're looking for food, clothing, money, anything helps. Everything is appreciated. Thank you for watching this again, and God bless.